Good morning, YouTube. So today I'll be polishing a watch, this is a Rolex Submariner 16610. This is a little setup we got here. This is the main lathe that I like to use. And we have another one here, and we got the steam machine and a utility sink. So it's a small room. It's part of a whole bigger room here, and yeah, we just this is a little makeshift polishing place, but we got a ton of wheels, we got a lapping machine back there, and I already started this polishing, so I'm just gonna show you real quick what I've done so far. This is the watch. It's got a couple dings and scratches. The case is still strong. It's in good shape. It's pretty modern, but I'm just gonna go through it real quickly. First off, when you do the first go around, I like to use a hard wheel. It's a hard felt wheel like that, and I like to use this first. It's a more abrasive compound. It's the Manzurna heavy cut, and it's good for doing the first round on your steel high polish. So we're gonna get started. Use a fan on. Now what you do first, turn the wheel on, see it spinning, and I use a higher speed, and I add a little bit of this compound to the wheel. Just like that, you can see it getting on there. Take the case. This is a 16610 Submariner. It's a flat, high polished sides. This side's almost done, so I'm just going to do one last time for this wheel, and then I'll flip sides. Now when you do this, you want to be really careful. You want to hold the watch super firm in your hands. This case actually has holes where the spring bars go, so you want to be very careful around the holes, because they will get polished as the hole goes inside. You don't want to ovalize that hole for the spring bars, so be careful around the holes, hold it really tight. The piece is going to get pretty hot, so it's definitely nice to keep the piece moving. Hold it firmly against the wheel, make sure it's nice and flat. Do a couple different angles so you're not just going in one direction, and that's good for first side. Now I'm going to do around the lugs. This wheel, we dressed it in a way where it has a curve to it, so there's no hard corners when you're going curving through the crown guards. that's about it. Now this compound's good just to be getting out the super heavy dings and scratches. So that's what I did. There's rouge, the polishing compounds all over the case, and the case is nice and hot. So I'm just gonna scrape some of the rouge off, clean up the piece a little bit, and then I'll move to a different wheel with more of a high polish finishing compound. So I like this wheel. Now there's already some polishing compound embedded into it. And for this one, I like to use a white rouge. Kind of a mid-grade in terms of abrasiveness. Okay, so that's it just for the second round, and what happens there, that cleans off some of the old residue from the rouge, and you could see that the case is super high polished. Now I am now seeing some minor scratches, some of the dings that I had intended to polish out with the harder wheel. Now you can see what's left of them. They're significantly diminished. Many of them are almost gone. There's still, you might see some remnants of them, but if you did a good job with the hard wheel and the abrasive polish, once you go over it for the first time with the white rouge, you might see a little bit of remnants of the dings that you were previously trying to take out. But if you did a good job with the first round on the felt wheel, they should be all gone, and it should start to look more of like a mirror finish at this point. Now, you don't want to be polishing these watches too much because you want to keep the case really strong. And yeah, I just do a really good job going once over, just so you don't have to keep polishing. But I'm going to do this one more time and then do the last mirror finish. So that's it for the white polishing compound. Well, mid-grade, you could see almost the whole reflection off this. It's looking really good. And now we will do the last one. Actually, I'm gonna use this wheel. It's a little newer, a little fluffier. And we're going to be using the super high polish yellow rouge. Now the yellow rouge is the final rouge I will use to polish, high polish sides of the case. I like it going at a high speed, and sometimes it will leave little streaks or a super fine hairline and scratches. And if you can't get those out, what I like to do is it's more when you're pulling the case away from the wheel. It's that final action of exiting the wheel where those little super fine hairline scratches are left behind. So you got to be really careful when you're pulling away. From the naked eye, you can barely even see these things, but if you want to do a really good super job, you'll notice pulling away certain speed in relation to the wheel. You'll get a feel for it, and you won't have any scratches whatsoever. Perfect mirror finish. Now, for something like this, I'm only putting the rouge on the one side of the wheel. That way there's, the rouge is abrasive, and you're using that to do the final polish on this side of the wheel. And when you exit, you bring it over to the other side, and the clean side of the wheel will clean the rest of the rouge off, and you exit in a nice way where it won't leave any scratches and no rouge behind. So that's why for these wheels, they have more rouge on one side than the other, because you're polishing and you're also cleaning the rouge off as you go. Okay, now that's it. Super high polish finish. And that should be it. So it looks good. Now we're gonna move to, we do the case back. Now I don't like to get too crazy with the case back, but what you have here are, there's a flat side here, then you have which usually has a line finish, then you have the high polish here, and then you have a satin finish around the outside here. So you have satin going one direction on the flat side. This beveled side, you get high polish. And this, you get a satin finish on the outside edge going around. I don't like to go too crazy on the case back because that's where the tools you use to, the knurling is here to actually unlock the case. So I just do a quick shine. Okay, now we will come back to this after we clean it in the ultrasonic so we can get all this rouge removed, and we'll do the final step of the case back later. From the bezel here, I took out the insert, and this I'm gonna do a quick high polish just around the edge. I don't like to really shine these up too much because this, you need to have the scallops around here need to be nice and sharp so you can grip and actually turn the bezel when it's on the watch. But I do like to give it a quick little shine. Now the outside edge is shined up. The top outside edge is shined up. I like the inner outside edge to have a satin finish going around. We'll do that right now. Actually, I have a different wheel for it. It's over there. So that's a harder wheel over there. It's more like a stone. It's an Artifacts kind of rubbery, stony wheel. And I just go around it real quickly just to give it a little contrast around the edges so it still can grip nice and tight. Don't want to spend too much time on the bezels. Now we have the bracelet. Bracelet is mostly all satin finish. You have satin on the clasps going down, satin on the links going down, even on the side of the links for the Submariners, they have satin finish going down like that. And the only thing high polish on this are the edges, or are actually the sides of the clasp. So I do that first with the hard felt wheel and the medium wheel. So that's it for the side of the clasp. There's a nice mirror finish on it, and I will do the third yellow wheel with the higher polish later, because there will be a little bit of satin finish from the top side of the clasp that creeps over to the edge, and I just like to get that done last. So right now I'm going to move over to this other machine where I have like a permanent stone wheel, and that's where we're going to get all the major scratches. You could see this, it's not I don't know, it seems a little bit washed out, but there's just some scratches all over the bracelet like usual, so we got to get those out first. So I'm going to move over there and I'll show you what we do. Okay, so this is the Ray Foster wheel we will be using to get all these little scratches out of each link before we do the final satin finish. So you can see here the clasp is nice and shined up, and the bracelet does have a lot of little scratches in it, which we will get to. And we're gonna use this wheel. So what I do, I run through each link individually. I go like this and like that. I do parallel, then I do 90 degrees. I do that to every link, and I do that to the clasp. And I be careful to stay away from the crown logo. But as you can see here, you can really see the clasp, and that's basically how I will prep the bracelet for its final polish. Now let's see the case here. And we have all the case parts pretty much ready to be cleaned, and you can see it's just really high polish on the sides, and the case is not deformed. So it's a nice, safe way to polish the case. You want to be quick and thorough, and just do a good job. But you don't want to spend way too much time polishing. You just want to do good of enough job. So like I was saying, you just want to do good of enough job to where all the scratches are out, all the heavy dings and scratches are out, and the watch looks good. You don't want to spend too much time, because you will be wearing down the case if you spend too much time polishing. So I find it better if you just don't get hung up and you just work through the scratches, and once they're gone, you just move on. So now for the links, I'm gonna do this really quick. Just showed you what they look like now, and I'll show you after. This I keep at like a medium speed, not as fast. Before the high polish, probably about 3,000 RPMs. This is about 114 to 2,000 RPMs. it for that. It's getting a little better. Don't forget the flip lock, you gotta polish that. So now you can see what that looks like. It looks a little abrasive now. It doesn't quite have that fine satin finish, but all of the scratches are gone. You can see I stayed away from the crown, but all the deep scratches are gone. Still see some fine scratches, but I'm not, like I said before, I'm not gonna go too crazy because I don't want to ruin the integrity of the steel. I like to keep a lot of material on there as much as I can. So now we will do the final satin finish on the links. So now for the final satin finish on the links, I'll be using a wheel like this. This is Bergeon 6085 E2. This one I believe is more fine. Sometimes there's two of these. One's a little bit more abrasive. I think this one's a finer one. It works fine. Anyways. Put it on. Make sure it's spinning straight. And this, as I'm going down, I'll be moving the clasp and the links side to side. I don't just want to hold it there because then you will see that more of the texture of the wheel will kind of have little waves to it. If you just keep it steady, you will see more wavy, but if you move it from side to side, you'll get more striped lines. That's my technique anyways. Okay, now just like that, it just takes a couple minutes, and yeah, it looks a lot better. So now you can see the satin finish is a little bit more fine. But you can tell that maybe around the edge of the clasp, there's a little bit of run over from the satin finish on the top. So we will be doing the sides of the bracelet now, but each link has a nice uniform straight line satin finish. And so right now I will do the back, and then I will do the sides. Okay, now for the inside back of the bracelet, the sides of the bracelet, giving it that satin finish. and the final mirror finish on the side of the clasp. And then we're done, ready for cleaning, and I'll do the case back. The final finishes of the case back. So this wheel that does the final satin finish is a little spongy. So that's why when you're polishing each link like this, it's going to dig into the wheel and you're going to get some of that satin finish on the side going in the opposite direction that you want it. So final go around here. Okay, so that's it for the bracelet. I know I said I would clean the case back up before I did the final finish, but there's not too much rouge in the way there, so I think we're just going to finish it right now. So this is the lathe that I use to do the final step of the case back. Turn on the lamp. I'm going to be putting the case back here, and I will be using an emery stick to get that outside edge, have a satin finish going all the way around. Now let me set that up. Now I don't know how well you can see this, but I'm basically chucking the case back up on the lathe. Turn it on, take the emery stick, be careful not to hit the knurling. So now we got that lined satin finish all around the outside corner. Satin finish around the outside corner, mirror finish on the bevel. Now we're going to do the line finish on the case back. So here we are. You can see the nice satin finish on that flat spot on the case back. It needs to have a line finish, so we use this for. Now we have this weight here and some double-sided tape. That's to secure the case back. Now I usually like to find where the original direction was going. In this case it's all gone, so I just place it where I like, nice and firm, and I'm going to just give it a couple swipes. Like I said, you don't want to do this too much because you're basically sanding the case back, so you just want to do it good enough. Okay, so I got the case back here, and now I set the block down and just do 1, 2, pushing a little weight, then I flip it, and I go 1, 2, and that's usually good enough just to give some type of finish on there. And it actually came out pretty good. You can still see there's pitting in it, and it does need to be cleaned up. But it does have that satin finish, which is what we're looking for. And that's good enough for a watch like this. We don't need to use any super crazy lapping. But anyways, now we have all our 3 pieces of the case: bezel, case frame, case back, and we have the bracelet here. And we will dump them into the ultrasonic, let them soak. Now, when the watch parts are in the ultrasonic machine, you want to keep the parts separated, because if they touch each other while that water is vibrating, then the parts might move with each other. And the parts might touch and be moving and scratching each other. So you just got to keep them separated. Now I'm going to show you how I do that. So what I do now, I take the false crown off of the case and the crystal that protecting the crystal ring, and get all the pieces separated. Use these good old-fashioned strawberry baskets. I'll put the bezel down there, put a basket on top. Now nothing will touch it. I will do the case back next there. One more basket and the case frame. Now they're all suspended. None of them are being touched in any way where they're going to be rubbing and creating more scratches as the water in the machine vibrates. So case goes in the ultrasonic there. Now I have the bracelet. Weave it through the holes of the basket. So the bracelet is now suspended vertically and any debris can fall out of the links. Now I turn it on indefinitely because now I will be working on the movements while I'm doing this. So I'll do another video on overhauling the movement the way we do it here at the shop. But for now, that is how you polish Rolex 16610 Submariner case and bracelet. When the movement's finished, I will put it in the case, replace all the gaskets, do water pressure test, and I'll show you the final product. and then I'll post the video. You can comment, like, subscribe if you want to see more. Let me know. Okay, thanks. And for now, thanks for watching. Bye. Now this is actually how I polish the top of the lugs. See, right here, we need the satin finish. Sides are polished, nice and shiny. Some watermarks left, but those will, I'll wipe those off with a rag, polishing cloth. But yeah, gotta do the tops of the legs now. This is how I do it. Ray Foster, super slow speed. I just put this 220 grit tape on this wheel, so you'll see it now. Now this, you want to come out really good, so you gotta be careful. Super slow speed, just barely having the machine turned on. Now this is the line, your horizon line right there. Do it good, you could do it in one shot, each lug. Okay, satin finish on the top of the lugs. Show you from a different angle how it looks. So that's it. Want to have a crystal on there to protect it. Still have the bevel in the corner, but each lug is nice and identical. All right, guys, so here at the bench, you can check out what the watch finally looks like, all finished, polished, waterproof, and cased up. Enjoy.